Hey, good evening. This evening we're going to be playing a system by the name of Relics and Ruins. I printed out my own copy and just put in a little binder folder today. We've played it a couple times before. It's an OSR based game. It's free on Drive Through RPG if you want to go pick up a copy. Um, the adventure we're going to be playing is based on one from the Elven Tower. I think the links in the notes down there, elventower.com, I believe is his website. I support him on Patreon, and he sends out these different adventures and different things each month. But I took one of his adventures and changed a few things up. We'll see. And we have three players tonight on the adventure called Grim Tidings at Hornhayne. Uh, we find our party weary, wore out as they've completed their last adventure, and they arrive in the village of Hornhayne early one evening. It's dark as they come in. They see this swinging sign outside the local tavern that depicts a goat with this spit in his trough that is running down his mouth of this large mug of ale that he's holding. And you read on the sign in faded letters, the spitting goat. As you make your way to that, it gives you the very homely touch of what you're looking for to gather some drink, some refreshments as you make your way up to the quietness. There's no one on the street. You would think everyone is either in their homes or maybe everyone is here, but the place is that excellent with their food and drink as you approach and begin to open the door to enter. And as we do, Daniel, if you'll tell me about who you're going to be playing and all that.
So I'm playing Desi. Desi known. She's a fighter, a young fighter, kind of a squire in a sense, or most recently, and is now earning her way to knighthood, hopefully. She wields a very big sword and is very thirsty.
All right, sounds good to me. And we work our way over to our next character, Crystal. If you'll tell me about who you're going to be playing.
I'm playing Samantha Kingston, and she's also a heavily armored fighter with a big sword on her back. And did you say how these people reacted when we entered the tavern?
You haven't entered just quite yet. You're opening the door right now.
Okay, so Samantha will tell Desi, "Hey, be careful. It's a little too quiet here. I don't like that it's so quiet." Desi's her little sister, so she's very protective of her.
I mean, we could use some quiet after that last one.
Standing behind our two female armored fighters is our last character, Young. Who are you going to be playing?
I'm going to be playing Sir Hans Grunwald. You see this very tall gentleman, very muscular. He's got a grace of movement about him. And when you look upon him, you think there's a fanfare. You think that you're hearing fanfare in his, as you look upon this form, glorious form, wearing this very well-polished armor and well-decorated, fine detail all around his armor. And you see you see him take off his helmet and he shakes his head. You see this long golden hair flutter about and he says, "Yeah, it's time to eat."
As you three open the door, this is what you will see inside of the spitting goat. You see most of the tables are filled with patrons and people. And as soon as you open the door and the first of you walk in, and maybe Hans is looking over the top of the two females, most of the patrons turn. You can tell probably most of them are townspeople as they turn and all look towards you. A lot of them are looking at you with almost a disdain, and some of them are looking at you as very suspicious, and you get quite a few frights of fear from some of them. You notice the very large, even Hans would know he's a very large man sitting behind the bar that you would think would be the barkeep. You see him setting mugs down, and he reaches his right hand over to a light crossbow that is laying on top of the bar itself, and he just puts his hands on it and he says, "Come in, strangers."
Samantha will kind of push her sister back a little bit and enter first, making sure that she keeps her sister safe. She'll say, "While the long faces."
The gentleman behind the bar looks at you and he goes, "We've had a spot of trouble here. Uh, let's put it this way. We sent out the Baron's town guard earlier today to check out the trouble and to take care of it and report back, and they haven't come back yet, and we weren't exactly expecting strangers."
Then you should be glad that we are here, because we are the type of folks that solve problems. And there is no need for long faces. I will buy around for everybody here.
When you say that, Hans, you see at one of the tables an older, distinguished-looking gentleman. You could probably tell the way he's dressed. He's probably very well-off businessman. He stands up. He's short, though. He's maybe 5'5", and like I say, an older man wearing a nice-looking suit. He opens one of the pockets and he throws this pouch straight at you as it lands at your feet, and you hear it hit on the ground, and you can tell it's full of coin. And he goes, "Strangers, I believe, is what we need the most, because I don't believe the Baron's patrol is coming back. We need people like you to go and take care of the evil that has attacked the church."
What evil has attacked the church?
"I am the town doctor. Two of our distinguished townsfolk came running into town late last night, saying the church just outside of town, the Church of Golden Petals, it's been attacked by some unknown creatures, and two of the townsfolk were able to escape with their lives, but they are not in a very good mental state right now, saying that these creatures were half decayed and half dead as they ripped and ate flesh of people inside the church. So the Baron's local guard went out this morning to investigate and take care of it, but as the barkeep said, they haven't come back yet. And I don't think they're coming back."
Dead, huh? Yeah, they love to get their hands on some flesh. Fortunately, we're a little tink, tink, tink. Too much for them to handle. Desi, get your helmet on.
Desi and Samantha and I are squires, and we are trying to become knights. So this kind of problem is perfect for us. We shall take care of this. And he grabs his large sword. He pulls it out and he holds it up high and looks around the folks in the tavern and says, "Take heart, everybody! We will vanquish these monsters."
Dizzy looks over at Samantha and says, "Was he talking like that before? Maybe it was the ball on his head."
Out of character, you're doing it again, Daniel, with the whole echoey thing.
Yeah, it's like a bad echo now.
So weird. All right, I'm gonna come back and Chrome.
It must be a Firefox issue then.
Must be. But I mean, I don't know. It's just Steam always seems to have some kind of weird problem with, or Stream, whatever. Always seems to have some kind of weird problem with that.
Well, see, when I use just Chrome. I don't like Chrome, but I use Chrome for this because I say it's the best. Because every time I've tried to use Firefox, it's like everybody's audio is like real low, like their volume is so low. That's the only problem I've ever had with Firefox and it.
Yeah. My crappy laptop has been having a lot of problems with other browsers. So right now I'm actually running on Firefox. It seems to be working all right.
Oh wow, yeah, you're fine.
Well,
Weird.
also Daniel has an Apple or whatever, a Mac, so that might also have something to do with it.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's just it seems like it's always a culmination of all these little factors that I don't know. It's weird.
It's also weird because you can get Zoom, like the whole thing or whatever, for like $12 a month, but they want to charge $20 a month for StreamYard, and it has way less features than Zoom. And it's
Yeah,
also like often messed up and stuff.
yeah. If you pay for a year at a time, I think it's $12.95. But if you pay a month, it's $14.95 for Zoom. And but
Yeah.
it's you got to have also. Well, I think there's a way around where you can do a third party without using OBS now. I think. All right, we'll try it.
I have
Hey, Daniel.
returned from the restroom. What happened?
Yeah, you're fine now.
Need to get your helmet on, Desi.
I had it on, but it said I was echoey.
Well, we have your soup here.
Well, that's because you weren't wearing it right. Do I have to always teach you how to adjust these straps?
I'll put it on when I need to.
Which will be when the zombies are eating your brains, I'm guessing.
You think these are zombies that we're facing?
Oh, undead, whatever. Zombie, undead, whatever. They'll die by my sword all the same.
The Walking Dead shall feel the sting of my sword.
The gentleman that threw the corn at your feet, Hans, he walks up to you three and he says, I am Dr. Zachariah Stingut. I am the local doctor, and take that bag of corn as a down payment for you to rid of what I'm sure the Baron, they're home guard. They're scared of everything, so they probably, whatever it is, they saw it and fled, I'm sure, when they got there. Or we need brave people to go out to the Church of Golden Petals. It's a 5-minute walk just away from town here. I can show you which way to go, but this is just despicable of creatures of the night coming and attacking our townsfolk at the church.
Samantha looks down at the gold coins on the ground, and she looks back at the doctor and says, "Potions of healing would serve us better."
No, I am such a modern type doctor. I don't believe in that fairy tale stuff. Those things don't work. Just get a good scissors and sharp instruments, and they work much better.
I agree. Sharp instruments work much better.
I have yet to see potions that would actually cure a man's wounds. I don't believe in mumbo jumbo.
You call yourself an adventurer.
Well, your lack of faith is disturbing.
Well, I have traveled alongside you for all this time, yet I have yet to see it work.
That's because everywhere we go, people say, "Oh, we're modern. We don't believe in that kind of stuff."
Well, anyway, Doctor, let us be no more strangers. I am Sir Hans Grunwald. Technically, I'm still a squire.
Yes. The night is getting late. It's going to be the dark hour if you do not make haste. This needs to be. Let me show you where to go. The priestess there at the Church of the Golden Petals, Jen. I hope she's still alive. She's just a beautiful, fair maiden herself, but she did such a good job of bringing people into the church.
Show us where to go, and we shall be on our way. Samantha will walk out without taking the gold.
Yeah, and he goes out and points you just opposite direction of where you come in from. He said, just follow the road there. The church is just off the road. You'll see it. It's about a 5-minute walk from town here, but I don't expect the Baron's guards to come back, like I say. So I'm glad that we had strangers show up. You look exhausted, but I promise, go take care of this, and I'll have the bartender. He'll give you any food and drink you want in the house, and if not, I'll pay for it. I'll take care of it.
So you're saying that the guard was scared?
Yes, I'm sure those town, the Baron's guards, they don't do anything but just, well, they get their payment every month, I'm sure, but they don't do anything else. I'm sure they run off scared.
Well, it's only 5 minutes off from where we are. I shall take care of this. And he starts running towards that place. And you see his armor clatter, and the sound is, basically deafening nearby him.
Hans, perhaps we should take our horses.
Oh, that is a good idea. He comes back.
Just jumps up onto our horse. Okay. Keep the drinks cold for us there.
And now that you're closer to the good doctor, you can tell he's had a few drinks himself. He's not intoxicated, so to speak, but you can tell, he's definitely had his share of the drinks. I'm sure he's one of the worried townsfolk about what is transpiring at the church.
Keep your eyes sharp and your blade nearby. Let us ride.
Hans, with his 17 dexterity, vaults into the back of the horse. And he pulls on the rein, and the horse neighs. And he waves his hand towards the tavern and says, "We shall take care of this!"
You notice the good doctor himself has already went back inside, and you speak to a quiet street of no one out there as you head off. And sure enough, you travel the direction that the good doctor showed you, and you come up on where you start noticing the terrain. As you notice on that map, the terrain, there's a road that leads off kind of up to a grassy hill area, and you notice there's a few larger, older trees that surround, and you can definitely see the church building itself as you maneuver up, and it's sitting kind of on a high steep of one of these grassy hills as you approach it. You notice the church building is there, and you notice the large graveyard that is adjacent to the church with what appears to be some type of stone ornamental fence that goes around it. As you make your way up to the church, you notice two large doors outside the church that appear to be reinforced with large iron bands. Both of them appear to be closed and secured at this point. You don't hear anything. There's also a path that leads off from the front of the church. It appears to go on around to the entrance of the graveyard itself. It's quiet, nothing that you can see, but you do start getting a whiff of this smell, kind of like a smell of almost damp rottenness or damp decay from the ground that kind of surround the church and stuff, and it starts permeating into your noses as you approach that area.
Huh.
What is this I'm smelling?
Yeah.
Indeed.
So these main doors are barred shut?
Yep, you can tell they're closed, but they're closed as you approach. That they don't seem to be opened, and unknown if they're locked at this point, but you definitely notice they are closed.
Oh, all right. So if we're not sure if they're locked, I'm going to jump down off my horse and tie it up, draw my sword from the scabbard that's on the horse, and walk forward to the doors.
Samantha will do the same. She slightly pulls her helmet up so that she can bring her scarf, cloth, up around her nose, and then brings her helmet back down so that she's just not breathing in this stuff as heavily. Mm. And she'll tell Dizzy, whoa, slow down. Don't want to get too far ahead of us. And she'll pull out her own sword.
How high is the wall?
The church building itself?
I mean, is it a enclosed building, or are we talking about, the gates to the wall?
Oh no, the church building itself is enclosed. Now it appears, like I say, the graveyard that is adjacent to the church appears to be like probably a 6-foot stone wall that goes around it if you go that way. But yeah, the church building's all enclosed.
Okay, so we're actually outside the church perimeter, right?
Yeah, you're outside the 2 main entrance doors to this church.
Okay. So there's a wall that we could possibly climb or something?
Well, if you go to the cemetery, there is, but if you actually go to the church, there's just the 2 closed doors that lead into the building.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, his 2 companions are already on foot, so he's going to get down and run after them.
Is there a gate or anything that leads to the cemetery? And if so, is it opened or closed?
From where you're at, by looking on that map, you probably think there is down that path. You cannot, from where you're at, though, you won't be able to see it in the dark. I mean, it's pretty dark, that area. But you do notice when you get up to the church building itself that there are some lanterns that are hanging that are kind of giving dim light around the actual outside of the church building that's helping you see. But yeah, you can't really tell as far as the entrance into the graveyard from where you're at.
I'm going to knock on the door.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep, you knock on the door. Like I say, very, very large, very nice, ornate wooden doors reinforced with iron bands. But as you knock on the door, you don't hear anything from inside. You get no response from a voice, and seems to be quiet and still.
Well,
Let us. Okay.
I don't want to just burst in there, because what if this guy in the bar is setting us up? Remember that town 3 months ago?
Yeah, I agree. Let us head towards the graveyard and see if we see any dead walking around that area.
Not a bad idea. Can we grab one of these lanterns hanging here? Or are they attached?
Yeah. They're you could lift it up off its hook and take one if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll grab a lantern and kind of put my sword like leaning over my shoulder so I can walk with it without hitting the ground. And I'll walk forward with the lantern towards the graveyard.
Yep, you move towards the graveyard. Like I say, there's a footpath that you can follow off the main entrance there as you go along, and you get to where you do see that there's like 2 large, what appears to be stone entrance deals. It has a gate. The gate itself is closed as you approach and see that it's seems to be a very large graveyard. You see quite a few tombstones up, and you see what appears on the very far east side of it. Appears to be like a large, probably a stone crypt. You still get the smell of all that, almost like a damp smell, but almost a rotten food smell also.
Well,
You said it's closed. Like, is it locked or is there a lock visible?
Yeah, when you get to the gate itself, it's just closed. There's no lock on it, but it just seems like there's a clasp on it that just keeps it closed. You can just lift it up to walk in.
I can see why they think the dead are walking. It stinks here. It's probably some problem with their septic tank.
Well, let's see if this is true. And Samantha will reach out and unclasp the clasp.
Yep, you unclasp it, and the gate is kind of squeaky as you open up the large gate back towards you. And as you're peering in, everybody roll a wisdom check. So it would be D20 if you got a wisdom modifier, and if you get a 15 or higher, let me know.
Plus, well, I got an 18 plus my level, so.
All right.
I fell.
You will notice Desi as she opens the gate, maybe y'all step up closer, maybe to walk in or standing there at the gate. You see a tombstone that's kind of off to the east also. And it appears there's something on the ground behind it, just out of your lantern light. There's something laying there on the ground behind this tombstone.
Samantha, hold. Look behind that tombstone.
Samantha will approach the tombstone that she's talking about. She has her sword on her shoulder, other hand is free, and she'll slowly approach it.
Yeah, as you do, you see the outline of a body laying face down, and you would know from traveling maybe in this area before or close to it. You would know it appears by the uniform and the armor that he's wearing that it's probably one of these barons' guards that he had placed here in the town of Hornhayne. And something looks weird about it, though. The way it's laying face down. It's all kind of shrunken up, but it definitely has not been here long.
The symbol on his chest. This is for sure a baron, one of the baron's footmen. His body is decayed in a way I've never seen before, though I would suspect he hasn't been here long.
That
So
is
in
a
truth,
good.
I cannot tell.
The good Herr Doctor had a good reason to be worried, I'd say.
Well, the drunkard at the bar, you mean, who called the soldiers cowards but refused to come out here himself? That doctor?
Yeah, that's the one. Let's see what is wrong with this man. And he grabs the body, turns him over to examine him.
As soon as you grab it, it's like, you would think it would be some mass there. I mean, it's being a body that's not, hadn't been there probably, less than probably 12 hours, you would think. But as soon as you grab it, it's like, a toy almost. You turn it and flip it, and the body appears to have really no muscle mass. I mean, it's just kind of shrunken up and almost desiccated looking, and the skin is all dry and looking. But you're able to move it real quick, and something's definitely not right about it.
Yeah, Desi grabs the holy symbol around her neck, and she says a quick prayer, and starts to look around, getting a little nervous.
Samantha will stand up, and she's also looking around the graveyard, still sword slung over her shoulder, but her other hand definitely ready to grab and swing.
Yep, and everybody make another wisdom check. And if you get a 15 or higher, let me know.
Nope. 14. No.
All right, everybody failed. Okay.
Nat 20.
Oh, hey, okay.
Ooh, nice.
Samantha, you see it then yourself as you're already observing and looking around. You see almost like a cloud of dark shadows or whatever it is. It starts, the lantern light is not permeating it at all. It's coming straight toward all of you. So everybody roll initiative. However, Desi and Hans, y'all will have a -1 to your initiative since you do or not. It's D6, and if you got a Dex mod.
Okay.
Total 3.
I got a 0.
Huh. Samantha on a 3, you said?
I got 4.
A 4 for Hans. Is that with your -1?
Yep.
All right. And Desi, you're going to be last, it looks like.
Yeah, I go next combat. I got a 0.
The shadow creatures that have formed, they got a 6. So they are moving straight towards you, Samantha.
Ooh.
And you just see like this dark shadow. It just turns almost pitch dark, and the lantern almost starts to go out that Desi has. I mean, the light just kind of fades out. And as it does, the shadows permeate over you, Samantha. And you just feel this awful, awful coldness go through you, but nothing happens at this point. As you're just, in fact, now that Hans and Daisy are looking at you, it's like they don't even see you standing there. They just see this black shadows and stuff. And we're up to you, Hans.
Hans is actually surprised, and he says, the shadows, it's coming closer to us. And he starts shouting, come on, this way, let's get away from the graveyard. And runs back towards the gates away from him.
All right. And we will be up to you, Samantha, as you're you turn and you hear Han's voice, but when you turn to look that way, you don't really, you can see the outline of him and Desi, but you don't see the full figures of them as you're enveloped by all this blackness.
Desi is just about getting ready to attack when Samantha grabs her and says, "Run away," and kind of like pushes her back, and then attempts to swing at one of these shadows.
All right.
So I guess I'll just do an attack like normal.
Yep. You need a AC 12. AC 12 to hit it.
All right, 14 total. So that did hit. And I don't need the calculator. I need my dice things. And then a 10. We'll get strength mod, right? So plus 2. So that's a total of 7 damage.
All right. And that's a magical weapon, you said?
Yes. It's a
All right.
+1 magic sword. Or magic two-handed sword.
Yep, you're able to strike into this thing as you feel your blade definitely make good contact with this, and you can probably almost hear a scream come out of it. And if you want your extra attack, it is less than your level, so if you want to take this extra attack on it, you can.
Oh, yeah, for sure, I will. I also forgot I have a another +1 due to being proficient with two-handed or whatever, my favorite weapon. But it doesn't matter because I rolled an 18, and this time it will be 8 points of damage.
8, okay.
Ooh, wow.
You can definitely hear it scream out again, almost. I mean, Hans, you and Daisy don't hear the screams. It's like where Samantha is, she can hear like screams of voices, almost human voices screaming out as she's going into this. And it's still there around you, Samantha. Daisy, we're up to you.
So, do I see like her sword and stuff swinging around? Because you said I can't
Yeah,
see.
you can see maybe an outline, but it's not like you have a very clear visual of Samantha now. But you can see the outline of her moving and stuff and fighting with this thing.
I mean, do I think it's safe to attack the creature without hitting?
Yeah,
Samantha?
oh yeah. You would think that you could focus enough to probably miss her.
All right, I set down the lantern and take my two-handed sword. It's got a slight kind of light blue glow to it as it swings through the air at the creature. 14 plus 5, 19.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And my damage is 8 plus 2, 10.
Yeah, you see a lot of the blackness start to dissipate as you start to see the outline of Samantha again. The actual corporal vision of her as the outline is, and you hear some of the screams now as we go back. You can have extra attack because it's less than your level.
So now I'm seeing Samantha, so I say, it's surrounding you. Get free from its evil grasp, sister. 10 plus 15. That hits, right?
Yep, that will hit it.
And actually the same damage again, 10 points. 8 plus 2.
You see all of it just kind of dissipate up into the air as it just like turns into like almost a mist, a dark mist, and it just starts shooting out through a bunch of these tombstones on further out into the graveyard and dissipates away from y'all. It's quiet again.
Well, did it corrupt your soul?
And Samantha,
No, I believe I'm okay. It's quite cold, but not cold enough to affect me. So I guess we are dealing with shadows then.
Creatures from the netherworld.
Hans finally comes back from near the gates back to you guys and says, "How come you guys did not run?"
Because we are knights, Hans. Knights never run.
Well, when one of us is surrounded by evil black mist, it's generally favorable for the others to defend them.
Well, I was trying to get you to get out of there. How could you fight shadows? I mean, if it was physical Walking Dead, we could cleave it down, but the shadows? And he looks at his own sword. It doesn't have any glow.
He likes the glow. Oh.
Well, as I always say, kill them with kindness. And Samantha will shoulder her sword again, which, as you two know, is named kindness.
Samantha, you were a little bit further, away from them originally, and you would have noticed if there's like a footpath that goes down between some of the tombstones, and you could definitely see it clearer now. But it seems at the end of this footpath on the far east of the graveyard against the wall, you definitely see what appears to be a large stone crypt there.
Check out on yonder way. There seems to be a large crypt of some kind of bed.
I'm gonna before I pick up the lantern, I'm gonna take my holy symbol and I'm gonna give it to Hans. And I'm gonna say, "This will protect you. Fear not the dead, for someday you will be one."
Sehr good then. I will take this symbol. And he takes it.
Okay. And I'll pick up the lantern and start walking, with Samantha.
Yeah, as you approach, all of you three approach the crypt, you see, a large opening that appears to lead probably down into the crypt itself. The doorway is open, standing wide open, and you start getting that smell again. It's a stronger smell, and it's almost just repugnant that you just want to turn away from it as you're approaching this crypt.
Well, open crypt door is never a good sign, I suppose.
Indeed. Well, we must rid this place of whatever foul evil haunts it.
Before we take that step, perhaps we should maybe take a walk back to the church and see if we can get in the side door. There might be holy water there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Good thinking, Desi. You always have a good head on your shoulders. Let us continue that way.
Yeah, so I'll walk, I'll lead I'll turn around and start walking back with the lantern. I want to see if that side door is open.
Yeah, the side door, it's like where you can walk the path, stay in the graveyard, and you see that there's appears if you keep going, there's a side door to a smaller building attached to the church there. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that building.
Yeah. There, when you go to the door, it's closed. It's not, of course, a nice door like the main entrance doors, but it's closed. It's pretty much the same type of door, wooden door with iron bands. But if you reach out and touch it, you seem to be able to open it up.
Yeah. I'll open it up and push it in or pull it out of the way it goes and shine the light in there before I walk in.
Yeah, and it's roughly, as you open it up and look into it, it's roughly probably a 10 by 15 room, you would think. You see a bunch of what appears to be crates and barrels and different things. Maybe it's some type of storeroom. Nothing else. You see a door on further up at the edge of the room that is closed. It goes into the main building itself.
Hans yells out. He says, "Hello! Hello in there! Anyone there?"
You don't get any kind of answer or anything.
They're probably frightened by the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Desi is. Samantha's definitely staying next to Desi.
Hans sneaks in, making a bit of a clamor.
I'm just gonna walk in. I don't care about the storage stuff right now, so I'm just gonna walk past it and go to the door because I'm trying to get into the main sanctuary so I can see if I can get some holy water.
Yeah, you open that door and you peer into what is, you definitely know would be the main sanctuary. You see a lot of benches that are, some of them are overturned, some of them are at different angles and stuff. But what really grasps your view, as you can tell, there's lanterns hanging in there that's giving dim light. It's what appears to be various bodies in various states. Some of them appear to be partial arms, legs that are probably torn off, and blood splattered everywhere and drenched all around into the sanctuary. When you look up towards the north, you see the altar there. It appears that all the objects and the furniture in that area seem to be still standing almost pristine, almost opposite of what it would appear the sanctuary itself, as you notice bodies. And at that point, you start hearing a noise that's coming back down to the south part of the main sanctuary.
Is that like black wall with the blue thing on it? Is that a font like where holy water would be?
Exactly, and that's where you're hearing the noise from right now.
Well, I think that's where we want to go. So I make note of the noise. You know, if I make sure, like I look at the others to make sure they hear it, and then I'm going to walk along the wall there. What's that along the wall? Is that those stairs, or what is that?
No, it's just like I want to say. I don't really say. I'm going to say it's more like benches.
Okay.
You do notice above the altar itself. If you would go up, if and when you go up that way, you would notice above it seems to be like a little second story loft that is above the altar. You know that you would think probably would be a ladder access somewhere over there. But no, this everything else is a one story.
Okay, good. I just didn't want something to drop in my head when I walked past it. So I think we'll walk along that wall. I guess that'd be the east wall, and around towards the back.
Yep, you're going to go to where you would think would be the font with the holy water.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if we're hearing sounds, maybe I'd go past that black wall and see if I can see anything on the other side before I walk to the center.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're going to see. You see 3 of these come out from behind there and make their way towards you 3. These bodies that are desiccated and skin and bones hanging off and these wicked looking teeth as 3 of them approach you. So we'll roll initiative from there.
Okay. I got a 1 again.
Oh, man.
All right, that die is getting fired.
I roll 5. Dex bonus is 2, so 7.
I rolled a 3 plus 1 is 4.
All right. Hans, you are up first as you see these 3 creatures are walking towards your group out from behind kind of that black partition, that black wall.
He's going to turn around and says, this is to clear my cowardice from earlier. And he's going to bull rush these guys.
All right. What do you got to do for it exactly?
He bull rushes, and those guys have to roll, what do you call it? The save. If they fail, then they fall prone.
All right. And it's, how many can you do on that? Is it all?
1d4.
All right, so roll D4 and let's see how many of them you can get.
4.
Oh, okay. So you can do all 3 of them then. The first 2 fail. Oh man, nat 20 on the last one. The last one makes it so you're able to knock 2 of them and smash into 2 of them and knock them prone.
Nice.
So we have 2 of them prone. They are under your level 4, so if you want to take 1 attack on one of them, you can. You still have 1 attack.
Yeah, he's gonna swing at the one that's still standing and says, you seem to be made of flesh and bones, yeah? And I roll 17 plus 4, that's 21.
Yep, you'll need a 13 to hit these things, so you're able to hit it.
So 1d10, it's a plus, it's a 2-handed sword, and I have rolled 1. So plus 2, so 3 points of damage on that.
3 points of damage to 1 of them, okay. Yeah, you strike into the one that's still standing, and it just kind of lets out a wicked-looking voice as you see those teeth that are sharpening and looking towards biting you probably next time. Samantha, we are up to you at a 4.
Okay, are they all prone now?
Just 2 of them. He knocked 2 of them prone. One of them is standing there face-to-face with Han.
Okay. Samantha will rush then to quickly finish off one of the ones that are prone. Taking her giant sword, she lets out a scream. Ah! And with a nat 20, she'll smack it. Are you doing any extra thing for that?
Yeah, I'm going to say if a nat 20, we'll just say it's max damage. Max whatever weapon you're using, max damage, and then add all your bonuses in.
Okay, cool. So that will be a total of plus 1. I got a plus 1 to the strength. Yeah. So that's a total of 12 damage then. As she brings. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what do you do to just destroy this thing in 1 hit?
Yeah, like it's prone and it's like just about to reach its claws back and push itself up. And as it does, Samantha comes in and just goes no, and like swings and like its head pops off and it flies across the building. She smacked it with such force and it hits a wall and then falls down into a bucket.
Yep, perfect.
Nice.
And did you have that feat where if you kill something you get another attack or not?
Cleave, yes, yes, I do have cleave.
Yeah, so the other one it's prone, then you could try to hit it if you want to.
Yeah, I certainly will. And that time I roll a 16 plus 3 is 19 to hit.
Yep.
And that's total of 5 damage as she brings her sword down on the second one.
Yep, it's still up. You do quite a bit of damage to it, or it's still moving. Let's put it that way.
Like basically, she cleaves the head off the one. The head goes and flies in the bucket, and as she's like swinging with her follow through, she slices the thing across the chest.
As you do, we are up to them now. They had a 3.
Tony, does she still get another attack? Or does that roll supersede the other roll? Because she should. Well, of course, I don't know that they're less than hit levels.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about that because they're less than you. So yeah, you still got 1 attack left. That's right. I forgot about that one.
Oh, nice. Okay, so then she will attack again then. Total of 17 to hit.
Yep.
And total of 10 damage as she finishes up with that follow through. She swings back around again and slams her blade down on the thing's shoulder.
Yeah, you guys swing this one whoever you want to. Then it's gone.
Yeah, like she basically goes through the chest and pulls her sword back out.
We still have the one that is standing there on you, Hans, and as it does, it reaches out towards you and with these wicked, nasty-looking hands is going to try to claw into you. Oh no, it rolled a nat 20.
Oh no.
So I'll give him max damage, but luckily the claws only do 4, so you'll take 4 damage from the claw. And the worst thing after he claws you is, he's going to hit you with the bite too. He bites into you, so it will let me roll the damage for it first. You'll take 2 points of damage from the bite and make me a Constitution saving throw. So roll a d20. If you got a con modifier and your level, you need a 15 or higher.
Oh, I rolled 18, so.
Oh, you're perfect, yeah. As this thing bites into you, though, you feel just the necrotic feel of its bite into your flesh somewhere. But you're able to fight off the other effect of it then. And speaking of that, we're back up to you. Oh, I'm sorry, we're down to Desi at 1.
Okay, so there's only 1 left, right? And those guys ran forward to them. I'm just going to stay where I am with the lantern and just make sure nothing comes up from behind. I'll hold.
Yeah, roll me a wisdom check as you're kind of perceiving and looking around now.
That is a 15 because I don't have any bonuses.
Yeah, you catch something out of the glimpse of your eye for just a moment. I mean, it's just enough to catch it. You're not able to tell. But you see what appears to be a humanoid figure that has stood up above that altar with the deal that's above, kind of on the second story. It appears like it stood up and then it kind of slinks back down, just real quick out of the corner of your eye. You could not tell any more about it, though, at this point.
Okay. Well, I don't want it to know that I know it's there, so I'm going to not say anything, but I'm just going to keep an eye. All
right. So we're back to you, Hans, as this thing is just bit into you and clawed into you.
Okay, Hans is going to attack. Ooh, that's no good. 9 plus 4. 13.
Yeah, that hits it. That's what you need at 13.
Oh, nice. And he does 5 points of damage on the one that he's damaged before.
That's exactly what he had left. So how do you finish him off?
After he bit him, probably on the arm or something, he says, let go of my nine! And then he elbows him, and with that motion, he spins around and cleaves the creature in half.
And you do. And it seems to be back to quiet at this point. But you get the awful smell of the stench of all these bodies that are in the sanctuary, and this also the stench off these creatures.
Ah,
So I give like the a sound like we probably are used to giving to each other to get their attention. Like it's just, and when they look my way, I kind of step forward and I say very softly, "I saw movement above the altar. Could be something up there."
Hans takes out his crossbow, heavy crossbow, and trains it towards that direction and says, "Whoever is up there, better come out."
Samantha will look around for a ladder or some stairs to get her up there.
As you make your way, Samantha, to go and see how to access that, when you say that, Hans, you get a reply back of this voice in total fear, and it goes, "Don't hurt us. We're not one of them. It's me and Fred. We snuck up here when they broke into the church. He come up here and he couldn't get up here. We're human. I swear we are."
Ah, then fear no longer. I am Hans Grunwald. We are sent here to rescue the rest of the people like you.
And at that point, you see two humans, older human males that they stand up, and you can tell they're just from being there in shock and in fear.
Samantha will say, "It would probably be best if you two stay hidden for now and let us come back for you. We still have the well to explore."
Whoa, what if you don't come back?
Well, what you can do is I could escort you to mine horse. You could ride on it and go back to the town's tavern.
That seems like a good idea. I say to soften to the crew. I call up to them. Did the creatures have trouble crossing the path of the altar? It seems clear that they in that section.
Oh, don't. They just hit all of a sudden. We were in the middle of the priestess Jen. We were doing what's called the celebration of blessings, and she was preparing to pass the wine chalice for all of us. And these creatures just broke through everywhere, and it was just chaos and mayhem. I don't know where Jen is. I have no idea. Me and Fred come up here, but yeah, I don't know. None of the creatures. You're right. They didn't really come up here that I know of.
All right. I say that the group. I don't think it's a bad idea to put them on a horse and send them back, just in case.
True. I'll go make sure that nothing else is hiding in the back real quick. And Samantha will go off to, from a meta knowledge, it looks like a bedroom. That room that looks like a bedroom. So wherever she's at, like I imagine she's on the left side. So like she is gonna go back towards that room, and she's gonna like kind of just throw open the door and with her ready with her sword.
Yeah, so I could say if you come in the front door, you would go to the room on the left. You're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because both of those doors are closed there, which y'all can see the whole area. But that room is. Let me get up to it here. You can definitely tell when you open it. You can tell that these are some type of quarters, like a bedroom. It's kind of a simple, minimal. There's a bed laying there, and you see what appears to be a humanoid-sized figure laying up under some sheets on the bed. But you notice a large splotch of blood that is laying there on the floor just in front of where this figure is. It's laying on the floor in front of the bed.
Samantha will move in and she's has her sword shoulder like ready to swing, and she's gonna quickly pull back the blankets to see to make sure it's dead and not undead.
Yep, as soon as you pull back the blankets, we jump back to Hans and Desi for just a moment as you get the two farmers down from above the altar, and they will take one of the horses and go back to town, as y'all two are doing and taking care of that. And we'll jump back to you, Samantha, as you pull the sheet, and you see a woman laying there in like these very priestly garments and robe. You can probably tell that this was the priestess herself, Jen, but she's not really human looking anymore. You can see some traces of the memory of being a human, but you start seeing she looks a lot like the creatures that you just thought too, but she's not moving. She appears to be dead, and you notice that it appears to be like a slash on both of her wrists.
Samantha will take her longsword and like slice across the throat just to be safe.
Yeah, she do. Just some nasty smelling, bloody stuff comes out, but it definitely does not move.
Okay, and then Samantha will lay the body down and like put the sheet back over it.
Yep.
Like put it fully over so that like it's covering the whole body. And she'll make like whatever, kind of like how Catholics do the cross. Like imagine there's some kind of like, symbol like that of, some kind of religion. Like, so she'll make like a religious kind of symbolism like that. And then she'll close that door and head across the hall to the next room.
All right. As you open that door, it's almost the same setup of room as far as the size and stuff that you can tell. You see a wooden desk in here, though, but there's a pile of papers and scrolls and books and stuff. And you would think that probably this was an office. And you see maybe some storage stuff, too. Probably a shared office and a small storage room. You see a lot of large tomes and books and papers and stuff in here, though. Nothing else.
Okay. No, she's not a cleric, so she probably doesn't understand spell stuff, all that, or the kind of stuff like that. She doesn't have anything in her backstory that would allow her to know any kind of knowledge like that. So she'll just close that door then again, and then she'll walk out front to the others. She'll say, "The priestess is no longer with us. Those creatures must have gotten to her. May not want to enter the left room. Warn anyone before they go in there."
Well, the real question is, where did they come from? With the crypt being open, I think that's probably our best bet. But let's collect some holy water, and I'm gonna, once we get the villagers on one of the horses and send, we'll put them on, two of them on one horse, just so that we have our resources when we need them. And I'm gonna go back in and find some, a bottle or something, and get some holy water.
Oh yeah, you can look around and find like some vials or whatever to put some of the water in, no trouble. And you clear the rest of the building there just to double check it, and there's no more creatures or everything's just in disarray. But that's all you find.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Undead scourge. Couldn't think of anything good to wrong with comment, Jeff. Sorry.
In the meanwhile, Hans examines his own wounds. Is it festering or is it changing?
No, you don't feel any sicker than, you just feel the just the normal injury, but you feel like whatever other nastiness that it had, your body was able to fight it off.
So I'm going to take some of at least one vial of the holy water. I'm going to bring it to Hans. I'm going to say, perhaps we should bless your weapon before we go down.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to lay it across we'll go up to the altar, maybe, and I'll lay it across the altar and say whatever prayers that I might know, and coat the weapon in holy water.
Yep, you're able to do that. Samantha wasn't going to, did anybody else want to look around and look for anything else in the actual sanctuary or the offices themselves or not?
Hans is actually going to go back to where that priestess was.
Yeah, in her room? Okay.
Yeah, he lifts up the sheets and examines her body a little bit to see where, how she was killed, what sort of wounds, she has taken, and compares that against the wounds that he's received.
Yeah, you can find what appears to be some type of bite mark on her. Also, appears that she was clawed and a bite mark on her, and it
Yeah.
seems like it would appear, almost close to what you've taken.
Okay. Uh, if we recall back to that first guards, the corpse of the guard that they encountered in the courtyard, does it look very similar to that?
Now the guard and the town guard that was behind the tombstone is totally different. I mean,
Okay.
that body was like shrunken up where it didn't have any muscle mass at all, and just totally different.
Okay. Yeah, Hans, looks around and he lifts up the sword and actually decapitates that body. Just
Oh
to make
my!
sure.
Okay.
Luckily, Desi's taken care of. Well, I guess maybe okay. Now you've just unholed your sword, but that's okay. I don't know because I wasn't there. Yeah, no, Desi's not interested in going through paperwork. She's just getting ready to battle the whatever creatures below, saying prayers or whatever.
Yep, that works for me.
And Samantha is with Desi, making sure that her sister is safe. She's probably like sitting on a stump or something, like sharpening her blade. But, keeping an eye on Desi, basically. We're trying to make it look like she's doing something else.
Yep, and you get the two townsfolk back on their way. They skedaddle on the horse as fast as they can get out of there. You make your plan. Head back. So you're going to go towards where the crypt is then?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You make your way back over to that crypt, and like I say, it appears to be standing open, the main entrance to it, and you just get that strong, repugnant smell as you approach it. It's even worse than what you've smelled so far. You make your way down these stairs, and you would think about 10 feet after you hit the end of the stairwell into the crypt. It's pretty dark. I mean, y'all could still use some of those lanterns if you wanted to that you found around the church itself, or you could use them if you had torches or whatever.
Yeah, no, Desi will still have that lantern. If it was burning low, she'll take a different one or refill it. But yeah, she has the lantern from the church.
You can appears there's a pathway going to your right that appears to be more like a hallway, or you would appear if you go down to the left from entering, it appears it opens up into an open area of the crypt itself.
Samantha will have a torch out.
All right.
So Desi says, perhaps one of us should guard this hall while the other two check the room.
Samantha will hand the torch to Hans and say, "You'll guard the entrance then, like always."
As always, I will guard the entrance.
So we should put them in the right where I'm looking at the map, but where to the right where it goes up and then it turns to what would be the left, like right. If you can stand right that corner so you can see anything coming at us.
He's gonna tell you. After looking at the wound, it seems like one of those creatures that has scratched me earlier had the same wound as caused the same wound as the one on the priestess. Do not let those creatures touch you.
That is good advice, sir.
We'll go with you, Hans.
Samantha kind of walks away a little bit with Desi, and then she leans into Desi and says, "Keep an eye on him. He may want to turn into one of those creatures on you."
Yeah. She kind of looks back at him and shakes her head sadly.
He waves at her.
Hans, we'll start with you real quick as you peek around the corner, and then with your torchlight or lantern light, you can appear it goes kind of like a hallway, and probably the edge of it, you can see there's a passageway. It would probably go on to the right, or you can continue on down that hallway, but it's quiet right now. You don't hear anything or anything out of the ordinary as you're keeping watch. As we go back to the other two, as you enter this room, you can definitely tell by the equipment and stuff in here that this was probably an embalming room that was used. There's a very large, heavy, sturdy wooden table it takes up almost the whole room itself. You find a bunch of old rusted implements. It was probably used for embalming and treatment of the corpses. Everything else appears to be in just general order. Nothing else is that you find in here at all.
Perhaps necromancy is at work here? You know what? This is exactly one of the kind of room that would hold one of those healing potions I keep talking about. Let me have time to search and see if one lies about.
Okay. Go for it.
And I would like to do a search.
Yeah, you can take. It's gonna, if you want to do a thorough, good search, it'll take you about 10 minutes. A turn. If you want to do it, it's fine. Make a wisdom check.
Okay. Wisdom plus 0 for me, so not the best, but okay. 14 total. So I guess
you look around. Yeah, you don't find anything, any hidden niches or cracks or anything in the walls or anything at all. You're pretty confident that there's nothing here.
Tony, was there like embalming fluid? I mean, I don't know if they used it back then. Is there like embalming fluid here?
Yeah, you do find actually like some jars that you would probably think that's what it is. It's pretty. Yeah. If you open it up, it's pretty repugnant smell itself. It's so old.
Right, but it's flammable, right? I'm gonna test it.
Yeah, what the heck? We'll say it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I think actually it is. I'm not sure if it should be, but all right, I take a couple of them if they're flammable, and I say.
Yeah, I'm going to say you probably if you carry one and use these are like big jugs. I mean, it wouldn't be like a potion vial size. I mean, you can take them, but it would take if you're going to like throw one or something, it would take your whole. You know what I mean? Because they're pretty kind of like moonshine jugs, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, all right, so it's big. Okay, that's good actually. So I take one, but I just move it down to basically where Hans is sitting, and I put it there.
All right.
And I say, this is very flammable, and if we need to, we'll want access to it. Although, you know what I'll do? I'll carry it. Well, I can't carry it though because I have a sword and a lantern.
I just realized that I was muted. Yeah, he says, I will guide it.
Yeah, so just leave that there. Don't put the torch near it. I mean, you're probably smarter than I am, but I'm just telling you because you might not know.
No, his wisdom is actually 6. And after hearing that, he says, yeah, that is a good idea. And then put the torch away from it.
Yeah, move the torch away from that. Are you also using a two-handed sword?
Yes.
Holy shit.
If many dead start making their way down here, light it and run into flake. And perhaps it will explode and help you have time to escape.
Then let us hope that will not come to fruition, yeah?
Yeah, let's hope not. I say so. I say, shall we? And I start to move forward with the lantern down to the hallway.
Yeah, you move a good 20 feet up or so, and you look towards the right, and there's a pathway it goes to the right. It appears to be some stairs leading on further down, probably 10 feet, or you can continue down the main passageway.
Does it seem, can I tell if it's been disturbed recently? Like, does it look like torn up? Or is it
one that's down the stairway or looking down
the stairway, basically. Like if something looks like it's come up the stairway recently. I don't know if I can tell. It depends on what the stairs are made of.
Yeah, you can see that it appears to be human foot traffic that has went this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say, all right, hold on. Wait here for a second, guys. And I walk back that 20 feet and I pick up the jug and move it right to that spot.
All right.
And I say, well, this way, should we go down this way and see what's happening? Looks like that it's been trafficked. That doesn't really mean anything.
But what about the plan? If we fail, then I light the place up.
Well, just stay right here with the jug. We'll go into the room and check it out.
Well, if you say so.
We want it as close as possible to us.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. He pulls out his crossbow instead. He sheathes his two-handed sword.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I get the lantern. I'm gonna walk down the
Samantha standing right next to Dizzy.
Down the stairs.
Yep, you move down them stairs. We'll say they go 10 feet down or so, and as you come down to the bottom of them and back into the opening, you notice that you can go to the right or left. It appears the right is a larger area. To the left, you see something just probably out of the lantern line itself in a way. You can see there's something over there kind of in the corner. It's
Okay, so I look at Samantha with the look like one of us should watch one way while the other one goes the other way. And then I wait for her to decide which one she wants to be.
Samantha is going to point towards the object in the corner, and she's going to begin to slowly make her way over there. She also will signal for her to put the lamp down on the ground so that they can both be ready to attack.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put the lamp down, and I'll, keeping the corner of my eye on her, I'll be watching the other way to make sure we don't get ambushed.
Yep, Samantha, you look as you approach that to the left there, and you can see it closer now. It appears that it's an old, I mean, you can just tell by the wood itself. It's a wooden casket, and the top of the casket is off of it, but it's laying there, and it, you can tell it's, of course, human size, but it's just probably, several years old. It's just sitting there.
She'll take her sword and push the top up and make sure there's nothing.
No, you can actually look down into it too, and it's empty. It's like what you can see. It was built. It's very well built, but you can tell it probably was never been used.
Interesting. She'll kind of like if there's any carpeting or anything, she kind of pulls it up and just make sure there's nothing under there or nothing's hidden.
No, the casket itself, it's just all wood. It's clear. You don't find anything.
All right, so she'll signal to Desi I don't know, and she'll begin making her way back.
Okay, so at that, Desi will walk into the other space with the sword ready, looking around.
Yeah, as you walk into the larger room, you get the smell of death and rotten flesh, because as you do and get closer, this is what you see again. You see three of these creatures that are bending down, and they're fighting over bones and gnawing on bones, and you see parts of chainmail and part of the capes and stuff, and you would think that they're finishing off the rest of the town patrol, the Baron's guards that they killed. They have not noticed y'all yet.
Okay, I'm going to walk back slowly, and if we can get without being noticed back to the stairs, I want to go back up and get that jug.
Yep, you're able to do it because I rode for them. They haven't heard y'all, and they're too busy eating their meal.
So I'm gonna say to Hans, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna throw this jug into the group of them, and you're gonna shoot a flaming crossbow bolt into it.
You have a light, yeah?
Yeah, there's a torch you have in your hand.
All right. He looks at it and says, "Oh yeah." He pulls out a bolt and then sets it aflame.
I would say like the bolt now.
He actually dips the tip of the bolt in that formaldehyde.
Yeah.
And lights it up so that it starts flaming.
All right.
Samantha will get into a pose like a striking pose, so that she's ready to as soon as this fireball goes off, she's ready to bull rush her way in, and she'll give Desi a nod when she's ready.
Okay, so Desi's gonna sit her sword on the ground, obviously, because I have to throw this thing with two hands. So she'll come down the stairs, as silently as possible, but also quickly, so that way if they do hear us, I'm down there, and I'll whip it and then step to the side so that Hans can, come forward with the crossbow and light it up, hopefully.
Are you trying to throw it where it lands and maybe splashes on some of them, or
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna try to throw it into the center of them, into the group, basically, so that we can get hopefully we're hoping for a pool of flaming liquid or minor explosion.
Yeah, roll me roll a D3 then. Let's see.
D3.
Yep.
Okay. So I rolled a D6. So I rolled a 6 actually. So that's 3.
I guess.
Yeah, you would think you're pretty confident that where you're going to land it at, that you're going to get probably some of this fluid stuff on all three of them. You would think.
Okay. Awesome. Should I make an attack roll, or was that good enough?
Oh no, you can definitely throw it, and
Okay.
And it lands, and it's probably a glass jar or whatever. So I mean, I'm sure it cracks and bursts. I mean, it's old, so.
Yeah,
And
as,
then,
soon, as soon as that happens, Hans, lets out his crossbow.
Yep, make an attack roll, and don't get a 1.
That is 14.
Oh yeah, you're able to get in there. It's just engulfs in flame,
And he says, "Wunderbar!" and motions at Samantha.
So since my sword is at the top, if it's possible to do all that movement at once, I would have thrown it and then kind of run back halfway up the stairs to get my sword while he did that. That way I'll be armed by the time they come forward.
Yeah, I'm going to say we'll call it a D6 for fire damage as you first engulf them. So if you want to roll D6, we'll see
I
how.
already rolled a good 6, so I don't think this time. Oh, I rolled another 6. Okay, I like this die.
All right,
This
perfect.
is my very kind die.
They are lit up pretty well.
And as soon as that happens, as soon as that fireball goes off, Samantha would like to bull rush.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll give you a surprise on them, and if they're still standing, we'll go in initiative after that because they want to get.
I don't have bull rush. I forgot. I have cleave and strike fear. Okay, well I'm gonna rush in and try and hit one of them if I can get an attack on one of them this time.
Yeah, I'll give you. You can have your 2 attacks; those are less than you. So if you want to go after one of them real quick.
It's actually a good thing that you don't have bull rush, because if you just run into these flaming bodies and bull rush them, the likelihood of you catching fire is great.
Yeah.
It could be.
I rolled a 19, one away from a nat point.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
But max damage, 12 damage on one of them. So it catches fire. I'm sure that's enough to kill it, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah, so it's flaming body. Like I rush it and just like, boom, and like just carve straight through the like burnt, crispy body with like it's so easy to cut through. It's like cutting through bread. And then I get a nat 20. Yes.
All right, destroy that
I
one.
love this program. I'm using this program from now on.
And don't you have cleave too?
Yes, and
Okay.
you said that a crit will just do max
Yeah,
damage to one of
we'll
them.
say that was the cleave attack because it's supposed to go after
So,
that.
yeah, that's-
adjacent. So you cleave it. The nat 20 is going to destroy another one.
Nice.
Yeah, like so. This one, like I see its hip is basically just a skeleton. So like I spin around and like cleave straight through it, and with the follow up of my attack, I rolled a 17. Only 5 damage this time.
Oh,
so like
yeah.
I go straight through the spine and like cleave up the chest of this last one.
Yeah, I mean you take all 3 of them, just boom, but they never know what hits them.
Witnessing that, Hans mutters to himself, "I feel for the man who will marry that moment."
And Samantha will just kind of like walk past you, like cleaves her sword like it's no big deal, and just kind of pats Han's shoulder as she walks by.
Right. At this point, like Dizzy ran halfway up the stairs and came charging back with her sword. And then she's like, "Oh, well, that was effective."
Well, they're good.
You did
Teamwork.
a good job, Desi. That was a great plan.
Thank you. Huh. I'm curious where these things are coming from, though. Does it look like this area has like alcoves or whatever in the wall where bodies would be buried?
Nope, you haven't noticed any of those yet at all.
And they definitely look like. Did they look rotted or they just look like funky? The one we saw before.
You can definitely tell they're rotted. That they're appear to that maybe they come up from some of the graves in the graveyard.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I pick up the lantern and proceed back up into that main hallway again.
Yep, you're back in the main hallway. It's quiet. It continues on down. You're putting your lantern line up that way to see it. Appears it goes on straight down, into a room, or it appears like maybe there's more stairs that go to the left off of that.
Okay, so I think keeping with our procedure probably is how we normally operate. We'll get to that intersection, and Hans can hold a guard with the crossbow, and we'll walk down into the room.
Yep, that sounds good.
You're gonna go to the room off to the left, or
To the left, yeah.
Yeah. You make your way down. There's stairs that go down pretty much like where you just come from, maybe 10 feet down as you make your way into this fairly sized room. And once you get here, you do start seeing that this was probably some crypt. You start noticing there's niches in the wall, and all of them appear to be closed and occupied as far as you would know. None of them are being disturbed. But something that you do get is, and of course, Samantha would probably feel it first because she felt this before. You get a feel of this awful cold air, this awful cold, almost a dread feeling in this room itself.
This is the feeling I felt earlier.
Okay.
Let us retreat from here, sister.
The floor in here is dirt.
Yeah, it's dirt and stone and a mixture, right?
Okay. I'm gonna take like I don't know, I probably have a dagger or something like on my belt. And I'm gonna get down on right by the entrance, like so in the room, but at the bottom of the stairs. And I'm gonna like carve a as best I can, like a holy symbol into the ground. And then I'm going to kind of fill it, like pour holy water into it, kind of trying to create a bit of like a barricade, if you will, against evil.
Yep, you're able to do that with no trouble.
Yeah. So I do that, and then I say, well, we can't destroy all the bodies that are in here. We just have to hope that nothing happens.
Yes, indeed. Perhaps when we destroy whatever ultimate evil lies here, the dead will be able to rest, and this feeling will leave us.
Yeah.
I will feel comfortable if we were to burn this whole place down.
Well, burning a stone and dirt crypt under the ground?
9. With fluid like the one that we threw, perhaps we could go back to the town and return with it.
We'll see. Let us continue ahead for now and
Perhaps in
see
the
what
morning.
waits for us.
He says, perhaps in the morning.
Perhaps.
Okay, let's see what else we find down here first. I pick up the lantern and head forward.
Yeah, and as you continue down the pathway to the left, as you get down, a good 20 feet down, you notice there's a difference here as far as the room you're about to enter. You see that there's that this is probably not part of the original crypt. You wouldn't think. Some of the natural formation of rock and stuff has fallen off and crumbled down, and when you walk in, it appears to go into this very ornate-looking room that just is totally different than any of the rooms you've went in. As you enter this large room, you see in the far north corner of it a very ornate-looking painted circle that is painted in its faded paint. You can tell it has been here for a long, long time.
Was ist das? He points at the circle.
Don't know.
Did they see any other creatures in there?
No, that's all you see is the. But this room, it's kind of like a more of a tile type flooring, but it's not a natural cavern part of the crypt itself. You would almost. Well, I'd say, would all you roll wisdom if you make a wisdom?
Okay.
Oh, brother.
Our intelligence. If you want to do intelligence, you can do intelligence.
I still felt either way.
I felt both of them.
You don't add your level to it, right? You just straight. I got 13. So I felt.
Oh, I forgot you do add your level, don't you?
Oh, yeah, you do.
I haven't been doing that this whole time. So I actually, let's see.
Oh, I got 17 then, so
plus 4. No, I still felt. I have a 13.
Yeah, under intelligence I made it. Not the
You
wisdom.
did?
then.
Okay.
And
Well,
I made
Hans and Desi, it would hit you maybe that it would appear maybe just by the look of this, that this room was maybe uh, from another structure from years ago, or maybe it was this area was sealed off from the crypts. I mean, and it's broken through now. Is what you would think. But I mean, it's a nice. The flooring is nice, and like I say, this large circle that is painted in the very far north of it's very ornate looking, but it's faded. You can tell it's been here a long time.
Okay. Well, clearly this is an ancient structure. We need to figure out what happened here. So I'm going to walk in. I guess I want to look around for anything that might be, since this has been here for a long time, there might have been furniture or some other structures that have crumbled with time. So I'm kind of looking to see if I can see hints of anything else that may have been in the room at some point, or something that may have been inside the circle.
No, looking around the room, you don't see anything at all as you're searching around. The circle appears to be nothing sitting inside of it. Do you walk inside of the circle, or?
What? It's just a circle?
Yeah, it's just painted on the ground itself.
Is there any kind of ornate design or anything within or without the circle?
Yeah, it's pretty much like if you got that what the picture of it is. If you got it pulled up on the map, it's pretty much looks like that. It's almost
Okay.
like a star looking from looking at it.
Samantha will say, "Let us destroy the symbol made here. Let us take tile, pull tile up from the ground, and crush that tile. Obviously, this is the sign of the evil that has caused the dead to rise."
Well, aren't these circles often made to contain evil? By breaking it, wouldn't we be releasing something? I'm going to look around at that now that I've kind of thought that. I'm going to look around to see if the circle seems to be broken in any way, if the design is broken.
No, you don't notice any brokenness to it. Like I say, you just notice it's faded. The painting itself is faded.
Hans grabs a rock and tosses it into the circle.
All right, nothing happens.
That looks like this.
Well, if the circle is already released, whatever was in it, I suppose breaking it would not hurt. But let's do it in such a way that we can repair it. So let's try to pull a tile versus destroying a tile.
Good idea. So Samantha will try to like get under one of those tiles if possible in some way. Trying to like lift it up, and I don't know if I really have any tools to do that with. But
I can hand you my dagger.
I have a dagger, but I don't know if a dagger would be enough to do it. But I can at least try it. We can at least try it with what we have. I didn't bring like a crowbar or anything like that.
Well, what does the picture look like? And he goes up there and studies the picture. These like smaller circles that are within it, to see if he recognizes any of them.
As soon as you start to pry it up, Samantha, everybody roll initiative. And you hear singing. You hear singing.
Yeah, Christmas music. That is a nightmare.
I gotta switch d6s again because I rolled another 6. So I can't. That was 3 6s. I rolled 3 1s in a row, and then I rolled 3 6s.
Oh wow!
So I got a 6 for initiative, but I'm gonna switch d6s because that seems weird.
I got
5 total.
5 for Samantha.
Okay, this one's got some variance.
3 for Hans.
3 for Hans. Okay. Desi, about the same time as maybe Samantha does that, you see. Well, let me get my picture pulled up. What am I thinking? I'm not using my head. You see this come up from the center of the circle.
Oh.
And it starts to come up from there. And you get the cold, the awful cold. But it's not like the black shadows that were in the cemetery. This one actually has the look, more of a human look, of an awful looking human evil just radiates from it. Is it got a 6 also? So, but you go first, Dizzy.
Okay, so I'm gonna first yell, "Put the tile back!" Or did she already put the tile out, or no? Has she already pulled the tile? She did, right?
Yeah, she was starting to pull it up, right?
Yeah. I'm going to actually I'm gonna pull the holy water vial that I have, and I'm gonna uncork it, and I'm gonna start to like pour it on the circle and try to like walk around and recreate the circle with holy water.
All right.
Yeah.
It
And
has
I'm gonna say,
16.
back, evil fiend.
As soon as you do that, that really upsets it, so it's coming after you.
I figured.
Oh no. It's going to hit you with like a 22
Oh boy.
with its bonuses. You feel the cold just go through your body as it drains one of your levels. So you will knock you back down to level 3, and I guess and roll for your HP drop too. I guess HP loss and anything else that would be affected. Shouldn't be anything else, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. Look. Okay. So I lost 5 hit points.
As you feel awful. I mean, you just feel the awful cold chill of this thing as it grabs hold of you.
It's so cold.
Samantha, we are up to you as you see your sister just give out just the dire look of just,
Yeah, Samantha screams, Desi! And she drops the tile and like grabs her sword and just rushes this thing as fast as she can. She's going to try and cut it down from behind or whatever it takes to get it off her sister. So it's a 22 to hit when I roll a 19.
Yep, that hit.
I'm loving this program. I'm gonna use this program from now on. And 8 damage total as she slices through this thing with her +1 longsword. I'm guessing it's not 4 levels or below.
Nope. As you slice into it, you see part of it kind of disappear off of it. As you can tell, your magical sword did do some damage to it. Hans, you see this going on.
Hans looks at his sword. He looks at his crossbow. He looks at his sword and says, he tosses the crossbow and grabs his two-handed sword and says, Hans Grunwald will join the fight! And he leaps up and tries to slash at it. He actually tries to perform bull rush at it.
Cool.
All right.
See if it works.
Let me go over and read that because it may make a difference with this, but you can try it for sure.
Yeah.
You want to use bull rush? Roll your D4. Well, it won't matter. I mean, there's only one of them right now that you see.
2.
Okay, I'll make a save for it. It's going to pass its save. So as you rush into it, it's kind of like you just rush on through it and probably almost run into the wall. You will not get an extra attack because it's not lower than you. At the same time, y'all feel the cold dread coming from the way you come in as you turn. All three of you probably turn at the same time, and everybody notices the shadowy form that was much like in the graveyard start coming through the entrance, the hallway, and enters the room and starts almost circling the room around all of you. And it is going to move towards you, Hans. That will hit as you feel the mixture of the graveyard shadows move over you and just chill you to the bone. You'll lose 1 point of your strength.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. What happened?
Knock off 1 point of strength as the graveyard shadows attack you.
Ooh, yikes.
And we're back to you, Desi.
Okay, so at that, Desi shivers, and her face goes pale, and she looks down at the faint blue glow of the sword, at her side, and she lifts it and swings at the creature. And she says, "Go back to the depths of hell." 18.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay, and 9 plus 2, 11 points.
11 points, yeah. You knock some more out of this thing. Definitely. I mean, it's PO'd for sure now, but you definitely have done some damage to it with your magical sword.
So did I notice, Tony? I'm sorry. So it attacked me, Did it cross the holy water when it attacked me? It must have, right? Because I had put it down in front of me.
Yeah. You notice it appeared to have no effect on it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's why she switched plans, because she realized that wasn't working. Okay.
So it is going to turn its attention towards you, Samantha. This almost human-looking. You can tell now that you see it more. It looks like it's wearing robes and almost the look of some wizardly figure as it moves towards you. And it's going to hit you with a 21. You will have a level drain of 1 level down. So roll your HP loss, Samantha.
Okay. All right. 5 HP loss.
All right.
Okay.
No,
Wait, does my constitution, does that also get lost? Or
Yep.
yeah, you'd lose your yep.
all right, so I lost 5 points.
And as that happens, we're up to you, Samantha.
Samantha, you see, like, part of her soul, like, leaving her as this, and this thing kind of, like, looks at it and, like, devours it. And as it looks down at her, she starts to laugh, and she says, "Oh, really? Is that all you got?" And she puts her sword up on her shoulder, and the blade of kindness begins to expel this almost like divine aura in the room. And this thing needs to make a save or get a -2 to its attack as she is striking fear into it.
All right. This passes its save, so nothing else happens.
Okay. Nope. So it doesn't get the -2 then.
All right. We're up to you, Hans, as you've got what I'm calling the graveyard shadows on you.
Yeah, he's gonna, attack that wizard-like creature, the larger guy, instead of engaging on the one that's attacking him. Yeah.
Yep, you can do that, sure.
Yeah, he's gonna say, "You let Hans pass through, yeah? Perhaps this will go through you." And he swings his sword and rolls 2. That's
Oh, poor Hans. You strike against the corner of the wall and almost damage your sword blade.
The character with the best scores.
And he says, "I guess the sword has gone through you."
The graveyard shadows are going to... They like you, Hans. They're coming after you again.
Oh, brother.
They will miss that time barely as you've moved it yourself and out of their way, but they move towards you, but just barely miss you this time. So we're back up to you, Desi.
No, it's Desi is got the holy feather, and she's going to swing again at this creature. 15, 20.
20 hits it.
7 points of damage.
All right. You see a lot of it dissipate and appear to be looking in agony itself as it turns towards... It's going to turn towards you again, Desi. Let's see what happens. Oh, no, an 18 on the die, so that's going to hit.
Yeah.
You lose another level and adjust HP and all that.
Ooh, 3. All right, so I'm down to 13. I think at this point, too, I lose bonuses because now I'm on level 2, so I lose a bonus. Okay, let me adjust that.
And Samantha, you see your sister struck in agony again from this creature.
Get off my sister! 18 to hit. Only 3 points of damage, though.
It had 2 left, so what do you do to destroy it?
Oh, nice. Just scream, "Get off my sister!" and just swing with the blade almost like wildly. But that divine energy, as I kind of rush through, it's just kind of like this pulse of divine energy. She's like, and as that happens, this thing and just is faded out by the light.
Yeah, it fades completely out of existence and is gone. And as it does, Hans, you see this happen, and Hans, you're the only one that you're by the graveyard. The graveyard shadows are by you. You're the only one that hears this, because cacophony of low voices, and they're all appear to be like from old voices. You hear them go, "Thank you for releasing us. Thank you." As the graveyard shadows dissipate into the walls of this room and are gone also.
And Hans replies, as no one really knows who he's talking to, but he says, "Yeah, you're welcome."
Samantha doesn't care. She rips her helmet from her head and kind of like tosses it behind her. She lets her sword go and grabs her sister and is like, "Are you okay?"
Well,
Do I look okay?
yeah, she's she's definitely weakened and pale, and she says, "Well, the power of evil can only affect you for so long. I'm sure with a little bit more adventuring, I'll be right back where I was."
Well, perhaps next time you'll wear a helmet.
I am wearing a helmet.
Yes, but the straps are all wrong. Look, it's under and over. You always do it the other way.
That messes up my hair.
Hans goes up to Samantha and taps her shoulder and says, "Well done, well done. Yeah, I mean, I really could not even land a single blow, but you single-handedly slashed that monster. They're good."
Well,
She's pretty damn
I
good.
believe the gods were on my side.
So I think we've done our duty here, but it'd probably be a good idea to get a priest in to redraw this circle. It clearly was a circle of protection.
Well, about the priestess, I decapitated her to make sure that she does not rise again. I think she's dead.
That seems overkill, but I had already slashed her throat earlier, so
So at hearing this like carnage that they were performing to the priestess, Dizzy just kind of shakes her head and says, "Well, at least we got two. We saved two."
the priestess had killed herself. She had slit her own wrist when she found the disease crawling in her skin.
Right. How do you feel there, Hans?
Well, I feel just fine. I feel as if we have done another feat of heroism. And he raises his sword high up in the air and says, "Once more, victory has visited us. Let us go back to the inn and have some soup, yeah?"
Yeah, I could use some soup. And Dizzy uses her sword as kind of like a staff to walk out with. And she's weakened by the 2 level drains.
Yep, the weekend Desi. Tell me how Desi survived in the end of the story for her as we've reached that point.
So Dizzy,
Hans props her up, by the way.
So Desi with circles under her eyes and pale skin goes back to the inn and gets some rest. And she's feeling optimistic. She knows that part of her soul was taken, but she feels like with enough good deeds and being a knight that she can gain that back. So she goes on to continue her journeys and helping the innocent and slaying the evils of the world.
Yep, she is able to do that. It sounds perfect to me. What about Sister Samantha Hazelwood in?
Samantha, she also had part of her, something inside of her is now missing. As she is resting at the end over the next few days, she has this feeling like, there's something I feel like I forgot, something I should have taken care of, but I can't in the world think of what it could be. And then the camera zooms over to the temple where like everything's been fixed, all the bodies have been removed and everything. And this nunly lady is like kind of attending to some duties, like la 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 la. And she heads over to the basket, one of the baskets, to grab something out, and she lifts the lid and screams in horror as a zombie-like head stares back at her.
Oh, man. And what about Hans, Sir Hans?
Hans finally returns to the inn and has his wonderful chicken soup. The next morning, he, charismatically brings the townsfolk to return to the church. He says, "Let us go to the crypt and make sure that it is thoroughly buried." And he asks people to set fire in the interior and basically to fill that, strange markings with dirt, burying it completely under, trying to fill the place with dirt and trying to collapse that place. And as people, townspeople, they kind of get scared while doing that. As they flee from that breach, he says, "Once more to the breach, my friends! Once more!" And that's how we end the story for Hans.
All right, perfect. Story endings one and all. Once again, we played an adventure by Elvin Tyre. The actual name of this adventure is The Grim Awakening, using Relics and Ruins, a free RPG on drive-through, OSR based. The story ends pretty good this time. Our characters are able to get their strength back in the ways they lost it. You make your way back. The good Dr. Zachariah Stengut make sure you're well welcomed in food and drink and gold for saving their little village. And the church is restored the best it can. We go back to the church office that anybody failed to look at. If they would have looked at some of those books and those scrolls, you would have found these books that would have told about many, probably centuries ago, and it was lost to history that nobody even knew about, that there was a very powerful necromancer by the name of Ortgo that was in this area, and he got in a large battle where this church was built. They had no idea in this cemetery, in this crypt, but he was in a large battle with this group of druids who were finally able to defeat him and bury him and send him in the circle of protection to keep him buried. But unfortunately, our priestess found these history books and started reading them and some of the scrolls, and evidently in some of her readings, she set forth the evil again that caused all this mayhem and unfortunately caused her life and over 20 of the townsfolk and the Baron's guards. But our lucky 3 brave heroes were able to save the day and return things back to normal as much as they can. As far as we know, the necromancer has been defeated. There's no black shadows drifting across the graveyard now. And that will end the adventure I named Grim Tidings at Hornhayne. Thanks to Samantha, played by Crystal, Desi, played by Daniel, and Sir Hans, played by Jan. Thank y'all 3 for participating and surviving.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good one.
We didn't have